Hi refiners, hope you guys are doing well today. We are doing a full recording today as opposed to a live. Lauren has just moved into a new office and I was excited to come explore it, and so they're working on Wi-Fi, but we thought this would be a good option for us today. So here we are. This is my good friend Lauren Chumbley with Eclipse Event Co.
Hi.
Co. Everybody in Austin does that to you, so sorry.
No, that's fine. You did it right.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did do it right. Everyone's always like, is it Co or company?
Yeah.
So I got it. Good job, Amber.
You know what they do? They say Eclipse Events.
Yeah, that's right.
And I don't want to, I hate being that person, but yeah.
That's what people do with me every day, as opposed to a whole. Anyway, yeah. No, that makes sense. So we come to you on yet another rainy day in Austin. I feel like we're just living in Seattle lately. I mean, it's been 2-3 months of this, lots of flooding. We're on a water
rain plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a big video coming about rain plans for my company later today. But we're on a water boil ban, or not ban, but a water boil notice, and we're being asked to use less water, so fewer loads of laundry, and it's been interesting. So lots of hysteria in Austin. Like, just why do you need bottles of water? We're gonna talk about zero waste. And so in the spirit of zero waste, I've been laughing all week about all the water bottles. I'm like, just boil the water. Why are we like freaking out at Costco? But convenience, I guess. So anyway, yes, today's topic is about zero waste events and how we can be better with our carbon footprints. And I think what we're finding is that it's just a sense of, this is a desire of people. It's just a matter of awareness and the know-how. And just to give you some context, we are coming to you from a very, very recycle-friendly city, and it's still a confusing thing as far as events go. So there's a lot for us to all learn here. And some of this content is a little bit more specific to our city, but it can apply to you, and there are ways that you can get the same information for your city codes and whatnot. So Lauren is education chair with ILEA here in Austin, and this is a topic they did recently. And so I was excited to see that and asked her to come jump on with us. So yeah, that was a fluffy intro, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, dive in.
Well, yeah, I always like to say that, at least for me, I am not, I don't plan on giving TED Talks about zero waste events. I'm just someone who's in events, and I'm very passionate about reducing our carbon footprint. And just to tell everyone, it's so easy.
Yeah.
It is so easy, and I had no idea how easy it is to do a zero waste event. And I'll also start by saying I do not drive an electric vehicle. I do not drive a hybrid yet. It's on my list of things, but I do realize that that what we do now is having even short-term effects on our environment. Beyond that, whether you're in Austin or whether you're in Seattle or Raleigh or whatever city, you only have so much space in your landfill.
Yeah.
When it's full, somebody else is going to need to build a landfill.
And think of my kids. It's like hippy dippy as that sounds. The city of Austin makes recycling so easy at home, and so my husband will put something in the trash, and I'm like digging the trash, putting it into the recycle, and he's like,
why not?
My children are not going to have a planet.
I mean, that has just been released, though. There was a study that came out a couple weeks ago to say that we're going to have a major environmental crisis in 2040, which we're, knock on wood, all going to be alive at that point. So today's the day to make a change. And it is all right there for you. So as part of our ILEA meeting, I did do a survey to the Austin event industry asking about, what's their status on zero waste events. And I did hear back that 96% of them had not done a zero waste event this year, but that 83% did want to. And the two biggest reasons why they're not doing it is because they either don't know who to talk to or it's not front of mind. So I'm here to make it front of mind for everyone, and I'm here to tell you who to talk to.
So how do you do that with your clients? Do you, I could see having a blog about it. I could see having, even just in my welcome pack or info kit with my clients, a blurb about it? Do you have it on your website? How do you make this front of mind for your clients?
For my clients, well, considering I've only been trying it for
This is
less than a
new.
month, it's very new. And it's a matter of making the ask, and it's the easiest ask because at least with the city of Austin, you can reach out to Texas Disposal Systems, which is the company that comes and collects our trash. Whatever city you're in, if it's Tulsa, if it's San Antonio, you have a trash collecting company, check with them. And I say I have a wedding with 140 people. It's a plated dinner or it's a buffet dinner. We're doing beer bottles. We don't have kegs. And this is the location. And they write me back and they say, this is how much it is. If I have a separate event and it's at location B and it's got 200 people and it's buffet and the staff at that hotel doesn't know how to sort, then we can add on a team member from Texas Disposal Systems, and it's this price. So I've been given quotes at this point from $140 to make an event zero waste to $700 to make an event zero waste.
So do they provide, and Lauren was telling me before we started this, that your head count for the 701 was like 300?
No, it wasn't that much more. It was an hour away.
Oh,
it was
so
in Horseshoe Bay.
Okay,
it was distance.
I see.
And it was that hotel really didn't practice.
Know how to do
yeah,
it.
So we needed to staff someone there. So it was $770.
So hopefully eventually as our caterers and hotels and venue spaces in general become more educated on this, maybe even the cost of some of that will go down because it just becomes more second nature. And even the guests know, hopefully there's a cultural shift at some point where guests just know, like, oh, this is plastic, I just put it here versus there, and we can all kind of be a team.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to I don't think the guest is going to need to bear that responsibility.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's all going to be back of house. So it depends on us who either can be the decision maker or who can influence the decision maker on to provide these receptacles for composting and recycling.
Okay, so that was my next question. Who provides? Where do you get those?
I encourage anyone who doesn't live in Austin to just Google it or to reach out to wherever your nonprofit environmental organization is for it. There's Organics by Gosh in Austin, and then there's the Texas Disposal Systems that are just two that I can name off the top of my head that can show up for a fee and either sort your trash or take your pre-sorted trash and haul it for you. And so that's just that's a Google search.
Yeah, totally. So that's for like weddings and maybe like larger parties, anniversaries, whatever, 50th birthdays, that have, full-on vendor teams. And then there are, we were just talking about Longhorns, they have recycle bins at the football games, which I think is really cool. Who knows how that turns out, because they also serve alcohol, and so I don't know.
So
people really paid attention to how they were like throwing things away, but
they could place volunteers there.
True.
If that's something that I learned from ACC, the Austin Community College. They have a sustainability department. And so all their events are zero waste, and that was part of his 6 steps to a zero waste event is placing a volunteer there.
To make sure things are sorted properly.
And I do volunteer, I'm in junior league, so I have to go do a Christmas affair, which is at the Palmer Event Center, which is this gigantic event center. And I actually made a comment to a guy. I'm like, oh no, they put it in the wrong one. He said, don't worry, we have a company that comes in and sorts it. So there's a third-party company that might be coming in and sorting it.
I'm not I like to recycle. I'm into recycling. I'm not an expert in it, but I do my best with the bandwidth that I have and what's in front of me. But there are still times I'll go to restaurants here are even very recycle friendly. They'll have, even if it's like a countertop place and then you have your trash over here and you're busting your table, they have it marked. But there are times where the signage is a little confusing to me, and I'm like, oh, I hope
if it's compostable or if it's trash.
Yeah, but it's something that I do every day, but I still find myself confused in these moments. So having a volunteer or having some staff available for sorting or whatnot, I guess, it does make sense. Totally, because contamination
will throw off your entire bin.
Yeah.
And that's why the Organics by Gosh, for example, will charge a fee if she has to clean off the contaminated bin, which is fine because you want to make sure the whole point of you paying for it is to make sure everything's going diverted away from the landfill. But I think it should be noted that, at least for any of the people in the refined community, that if you are in Austin, that restaurants and hotels are required to compost and they're required to recycle.
Yeah,
So,
that's new. I
that's
learned
new.
that from Lawrence State. That's as of October 1st, 2018. So,
2018, yeah.
you know, Austin is kind of a thought leader in this, so it wouldn't shock me if other cities follow suit at some point. So, as the decision maker or the influencer of the decision maker, it's something that you should know or be aware of in your city. And like I said, I'm all about recycling and kind of pay attention to that topic. And I had no idea that had already become a requirement in a law here in our town. So I need to, yeah, we need to all be updated on those types of things. So
well, and I think speaking of the influencer or the decision makers, I feel, say what you will about millennials, but when they spend their money, they want to make sure it's being spent on something that's for the greater good.
Yeah.
So they may not want to spend buku money on, I don't know, either a photographer or a DJ, but if they know they're spending $200 on reducing their carbon footprint, there's bigger meaning behind it. They're totally fine with it.
Yeah, Lauren was saying that the client that she presented the $700 bill to just...
It was nothing.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really thoughtful.
That same client, I had to take home her floral arrangements because she didn't want to pay for late night delivery.
Yeah.
So we packed it up in all the boxes and I delivered it to the florist the next day, but she was totally fine with paying $700 for
hopefully
recycling.
You got paid for moving those flowers, or
I did pay my travel fee, so that's fine. It all is in.
The venue that she's talking about, planners and vendors actually help each other out a lot at that venue because it's so far.
Oh yeah.
I brought candles back.
Oh.
Left and right. It's like,
it's a drive.
Yeah.
And I stayed there overnight.
Yeah, a lot of times clients will pay for us to do that. So we digress. But
yes.
I think let's talk about festivals, or your thought on that. I know this is all new, so you haven't really, I mean, you really don't do festivals anyway, but what you've researched and learned, do you have thoughts or ideas or things you should consider?
The festivals, it's the same concept, and instead of being back of house, you're placing the sorting bins for guests to do, and you just place a volunteer or a staff member there. It's the same. It's the exact same concept. Yeah, it's the same concept, and it's very easy to do. And I do feel like Austin has had that for a while, because I was working an event years ago for was it South by? It was South by. And they already had the sorting stuff there. And then the very next month, I went to Chili Fest outside at A&M. No, it was the opposite. So Chili Fest.
Oh, at A&M.
Chili Fest is outside of small town Texas, Bryan College Station, and there were beer cans. I was walking through a sea of beer cans, and I had just come off working South by, where there was all these strategically placed sorting bins for recycling and trash and composting, and you're just like, what are you thinking? This is just it's so close to Austin yet so far away.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it's sad.
My parents live in Leander, which is
where they can drink their water.
I know where they can drink their water. And it's basically part of the Austin Metroplex.
Yeah.
Just that they have different water systems. They're not boiling right now. My mom's like, come over and take a shower. I'm like, oh my God.
My husband's like, it's fine. It's just like Mexico. You drink bottled water and
brush your teeth with your bottled water. But no, she lives in Leander, and recycling even there, it's literally across the highway, and it's not easy there. Yeah. So it is a 9-day difference. But anyone listening that is an Aggie and we're talking about your sea of beer cans, in all fairness, we do have Dirty Six here in Austin. We may recycle.
There's recycling still on the street.
We do recycle that, but I mean, it's a whole culture. So
I've been through Bottle Cap Alley. People be throwing their trash everywhere in College Station. But about recycling with events, or about reducing your carbon footprint.
It's something that we can do, and based on polls, the stats are showing that by and large we want to be doing it. It's just a matter of probably half an hour on Google and learning a little bit about what it takes in your city so that you can provide that information to your clients. So my recommendation would be go into Canva or whatever design tools you use and just create a little flyer and or put a little recycle friendly or environment friendly or whatever badge you want to make on your website or something that just kind of elevates who you are in your community and introduces this idea to your clients and makes it possible to the ones that want to make that effort, and start talking to your caterers and your hotels and encourage them to get on board with it. And there's a caterer in town that I have in mind that they do trainings left and right, and I could see this being a training that they do just with their staff in general. And it can, you know, these baby steps can really make a big impact. So
I think, so to kind of go through everything you're talking about, I think first it's starting with your caterer and talking about what kind of menu you can create within your budget that's less food waste. You know, it's great to compost everything, or we can start by like creating the demand to be lower, so we're not, there's only so many resources for farmers, there's only so many resources for your suppliers. So just to make the buying smarter on that end, whether it's you know, a plated meal versus a buffet, you know, obviously we have certain budgets you're working with, but if it's fresher foods instead of like fried foods, you know, what does that cost? And then going to what kind of sticker you can put on your website. And I'm wondering if Christy's going to find this out from watching this, my business partner. I feel 80% confident I have already brought this up to her.
jump into the design mode.
But if you haven't heard of 1% for the Planet, Google it. It's from the founder of Patagonia. My brother actually does grant writing for them. And basically, as your business, you are pledging to do 1% of your profits to donate to them, and that's going to go to all environmental causes. And I'm very much looking forward to the day where we can put that sticker on our website. Obviously, we just got an office, so we're really trying to let our finances settle down, and then we will put the cost on the client. It costs you nothing to have a zero waste event on your end as a planner, because it's the clients that are purchasing it. And so there are other options as well I'll go into in just a minute that can make your event even more sustainable. But I also want to say, rather than Googling for 30 minutes, Google for 5 minutes and call that nonprofit or call that waste disposal system and say, just cut to the chase.
Yeah,
I'm a wedding planner, I'm a caterer, I'm a venue owner. I want to make my events more sustainable. Send me your info. Tell me the steps I need to make. Tell me what I need to be telling my clients. And that way they have the canned response there for you.
Yeah.
And you will not believe how easy it is to make an event zero waste. I mean, I always wanted to have that.
So encouraging.
Yeah. I always wanted to have that subject. And then when I learned it from the panel that we had, I felt so silly that we hadn't done it sooner.
Yeah.
But I will say there are other outlets, and then we were doing it at Eclipse. We were doing it already. There, for locally, if you're in Austin, San Antonio, or Houston, there is Floranthropy, which you pay a fee for them to show up at the end of your event and take all your floral and bring it to, and it's a nonprofit. So they'll bring it to like Ronald McDonald House or Hospice Austin, 501c3 organizations, who then in turn, Floranthropy will mail your client the tax deductible donation amount, the paperwork for your client. So
what are you getting, like, on your full cost of flowers? Or
not,
on the,
so if
like,
you,
delivery? What is it?
So it's,
What do you mean?
when I fill out the form, that's a great question. When I do the form, anything that they're picking up. So I'll look at centerpieces, not the candle centerpieces. If they're picking up the bridesmaids bouquets, I'll do that. If I know we're picking stuff off the arch, I'll do that. But if I know that all of that is just gone, I won't include it on it. So if somebody has, for example, a $14,000 floral bid, they might be able to write off like $7,000 of it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so look for things like that. Just kidding. If you could spend more.
No. So
look for things like that in your city. Ask around.
There's another one. There's Keep Austin Fed, which I have legitimately used, but it just depends. Caterers are very particular.
I understand.
And I get that, but you can go to Keep Austin Fed can go to their kitchen and take what they didn't take to the event. If they prepped it and they didn't end up needing it, they can pick that up.
They were set out.
Yeah. So I had Rudy's just drop off.
I think we're blurry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had Rudy's barbecue drop off for a welcome party, and they didn't staff it. We had a third party company that staffed it, but neither of them had a preference on what happened with the food. So we reached out to Keep Austin Fed. It cost the client $0.
That's great.
And they donated the left. There was so much leftover barbecue.
Yeah, and I think a lot of cities have things like that.
And a lot of cities might have, which Austin does, and I wish we could just have the caterers look at it so they're not as, I get the liability, but there's a Good Samaritan rule that says if you are donating this food simply to feed the hungry, your liability is gone. There is a Good Samaritan rule because I learned it from the lady at the W. Now they'll donate. So if you have
I think they're more concerned about social media
backlash. I get that, but if there's a bunch of, she's saying that they donate a lot of, if they do snacks at the W and there's a lot of granola bars and apples, that's easy to donate. So if you have welcome bags that didn't fill in all, or we had favors that were from Tiny Pies, so they were in little mason jars with lids. The guest one took like half of them.
Yeah, and those are totally contained.
Yeah, I took all the rest to a food bank, and I just did that myself.
Okay, so you mentioned a minute ago about other ideas for sustainable events, and I'm sure we're all aware of like different plate options and things like that. But like, what comes to mind to you when you think about that?
So I saw a presentation actually at ILEA Live that was for stations, and it was a salad station. And it was all preset, but that way you only have a certain amount of food in it and they know exactly how much salad they're going to need, and so they don't over order. So I found that to be really smart as well. You just have these preset salads and just grab and go. So that was just
something like that. They have their little salad things.
Yeah, we had that at a wedding too, so I thought that was good. What I liked about this one is that it was almost kind of like a cocktail shaker, so you just shake your dressing.
So it's like an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience. But I also like the boats that Royal Fig does, so that works too.
So like pre-portioned things.
Pre-portioned food is big, and just talking to your caterer. Again, I'm not an expert on all of that. I just know that it's possible. Yeah. And just to start the conversation. Yeah. So.
Well, and I'm sure that there are some people that are listening that have done some things or have ideas, and I would really, really love for you guys to mention those ideas in this thread, because Lauren and I are green to this topic, but wanted to bring the topic. We wanted to just create awareness about the concept and that it is possible and that it's so much easier than we thought. So collectively, maybe we can come up with a great list of ideas that we as planners can all use across the board and explore whether those options are available in our own cities or not. And depending on how passionate about it you are, how much bandwidth and time you have, maybe you can be a voice or activist in your community to make these things happen. So whether that be events or at home or both, but anything else to add?
The number one reason people weren't doing zero waste events in Austin is because they were not front of mind. So this is to put it front of mind. And the number two reason is they didn't know who to talk to. So
well, and I've been doing this, I think, this month is our 7th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks. Happy office day.
Happy day.
And I didn't know about some of the local resources you just mentioned. And
I didn't know until last month.
Okay, well, and you've been doing this for like 12 years. So that just goes to show that pretty solid planners in a community, like we're pretty well connected. We're always at events and whatnot, and we're just now hearing about it ourselves. So, but it just comes down to asking and, putting out there that you're interested in something, and eventually someone will raise their hand and be like, oh, I do that, have for 10 years.
Yeah, well, there is a resource, and she's the one who spoke at ILEA Live. Her name is Julie Spangler, and I'll tag her in the discussion. Okay. Her business is simply to help you create zero waste events.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's just a resource that talks specific to event pros on how to do it, and it is not a big investment in your time. Okay. It is not. Yeah. I just keep forgetting to reach out for this wedding I have in November. But if you're going to a venue where you bring an off-premise caterer, then I will never not recommend it to a client. So as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna hit my email. I'm gonna hit up the Texas Disposal Systems to get that quote for November 10th and then send it to them. And I bet you they're gonna do it. Yeah. It's gonna be like $150 to $200 to divert all that trash.
I'm gonna put this in our which is the 24th. I need to wrap up our November newsletter. I'm gonna put that in our November newsletter that we're wanting to move towards this. See if
it's so easy.
Clients bite. Cool.
It's so easy. All right, that's all I got.
Well, thank you, Lauren. You guys, like I said, leave ideas or comments or questions in the thread, because whether we know the answer or not, there are a lot of refiners, and maybe there is someone that does, or maybe we can, I would be happy to even like comb over all of our questions and contact Julie and get the answers to them so that we can just have a better footprint in our events. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all have a good day.